Hello everyone, my name is Adria Smith. I'm going to take you briefly through my lesson plan assignment entitled Can You Hear Me Now, which is a music podcast lesson. And the grade level that I will be using for this is 8th grade. Getting right into it, the music content standard that was most relevant to what we're going to be focusing on is connecting, and that is us connecting music to other fine arts and discipline outside of the arts, specifically to discuss the interrelated principles between music and other subject areas. The audiovisual content standard that we will be focusing on is identifying and creating various types of scripts, because with a podcast, I want the scholars to be very well prepared. So in order for them to be very well prepared, I would like for them to write out a script that will be edited, of course, and we will review with each group before they are allowed to interview. And then, of course, you have our technology standards: empowered learner, digital citizen, knowledge constructor, innovative designer, creative communicator, and global collaborator. The essential questions, they were kind of difficult to come up with because when you talk about doing an entire unit with a general music class and something that is outside of music, but we're just incorporating music, it was kind of difficult. But I think that these 9 essential questions will allow the students to not only think critically, but also turn on their creative genius hat. Here's a brief overview of the lesson. First and foremost, they'll go through a near-part presentation to introduce the podcast unit. They'll be assigned to small groups, about 4 or 5, because my general music classes are typically larger than my chorus classes. So breaking them up into small groups will be beneficial for me as well as them. They will be given the opportunity to assign tasks for their group. The duration of this lesson will be about 60 to 75 minutes on every A day. So over the course of 4.5 weeks, that will equate to about 9 classes. They will produce a podcast miniseries composed of about 4 to 5 15-minute episodes using Anchor. And they will also be using Padlet for discussion purposes, for communication purposes, for collaboration purposes, Google Drive to store all of their scripts and other documents that they will be using throughout this lesson, as well as Adobe Spark. This will be perfect for them to design their cover art because they can use art that is relevant to their title or their topic for the podcast. Nearpod, of course, to go through the podcast unit and the introduction, as well as Anchor, which is a platform they will be using for the actual podcast. And also, after the lesson, they will be required to submit a reflection / survey. Introducing the podcast, like I said earlier, this will approximately take about 4.5 weeks, which is equivalent to about 9 days. The duration will be from March 1st through March 31st of 2022. I know that that's not here yet. However, I chose March 1st through the 31st because March focuses on Music in Our Schools Month, and I thought this would be an excellent way for the scholars' voices to be heard and for them to be voiced in a manner that aligns with music education and how it has impacted them, as well as the people that they will interview. So the instructions are very simple. They're going to create a mini podcast series of 4, no more than 5 episodes, create a catchy name or title for the podcast. They're going to create cover art. They can either use Canva or Adobe Spark. Either one they choose. They will be given a choice. Generate a list of interviewees for their podcast. They only would need about 4 or 5. Create a list of interview questions, which is very important because this will help strengthen their script. No more than 4 questions per episode because we're trying to keep the editing under 15 minutes or under, and they will edit each episode in Anchor. Here are the expectations that they will be expected to adhere to while they're working, as well as throughout the entire unit. This is a video that I wanted to show them at the beginning of the class to introduce it as well. It's about 5 minutes, basically showing them how to use the Anchor platform, as well as getting started with Anchor as well. This is my actual lesson plan template. It just takes you through all of the assessments, the resources, the instructional plan, management, how they'll be managed throughout, reflection, as well as the closure. And also to show them or to give them an overview of what an actual podcast example looks like. I will show them an example that I have already created. I actually host a podcast. It's called The Mom Life. And I started that last year, actually during the pandemic, as my way of giving back to not only first time moms, but moms in general, and just collaborating with other mothers so that mothers everywhere can see that it is possible to be a business owner as well as a mom, to be a full-time, whatever you desire to be. But I want my students to see that example so they can show what a finished product looks like and what I will be looking for from them. This concludes my lesson plan presentation. I hope that you all enjoy. Take care. Bye-bye.